because what I'm saying, if what I'm saying just sounds like bullshit, just try reading, because that's where all the data is, and what I'm saying is bullshit. So,
nice.
All right, let's go. When I first joined a union show, it was pretty much just like going to work as normal, except every now and then we'd huddle around the water cooler to discuss our benefits and how to best use them. Many locals accrue benefits for their members through banked hours, so the longer you are on a union show, the longer you can enjoy union benefits. We'd speak in hushed tones about how well someone was taken care of when they had their first child, or how they can afford a specific specialist for them and their family. Like, we'd look at our hospital bills that came in the mail, eyes darting straight to amount you owe, and be shocked that most of the time it'd amount to zero. We'd speak in hushed tones about these basic human practices of care when we should have been screaming them from the rooftops. Healthcare for the hours of labor you put in should not be some kind of inside secret. It is not a luxury. Upper management would like you to think so, and intimidation of that sort happens all the time. Fear of termination is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of starting the discussion for a better work environment in America, and that's fucking bonkers. The truth that unionizing is so damn dreamy is something that's been kept from us on purpose. It's a scam. I know some of you run your own companies, do other above-the-line work, but we are all laborers. The practice of seeing every laborer as a human being with a life is held up in having a union. Work contracts these days include things like golden parachutes and kinds of protection reserved for the elite only. The thing about a union is it protects the folks below the line the longer they work. It actually promotes upward mobility. It doesn't just talk about it forever. Having a 45 to 50-hour work week means guaranteed overtime pay. Working a holiday means time and a half. Working past a 12-hour day means double time. Continuous work, days past 7 continuous days without a day of rest in between means bang. Any overtime hours you put in, you can write into your timesheet, have those hours approved or not approved, but it isn't out of the question since union contracts will protect you, your hours of labor, and your value as a human being over the companies. You can talk to your union rep, which I just lost my place. Should any other issues arise, which frankly is a lot more painless than trying to contact your boss or anyone else under their employ about these sorts of things. These time constraints do put a clock on those in charge of budget, but if upper management can't plan for how many hours should be required to get a job done, are they really doing their job? There's a lot of care involved in being an active member of the workforce in today's society, and we experience less and less basic integrity as we put in more and more hours to the benefit of a few each day. And having a union in your industry does not at all take away from the quality of work that is created. The level of competition, diversity, and closing of the wage gap become hugely noticeable under union contracts. And yeah, I just went to the last slide. I'm so sorry, everyone. Sorry, I went to the thank you before I'm even done. Okay, that's really smart.
You're good. Go, Helen.
Let's go back to the data sheets, because there's a lot of good data in them. Thanks. I as a labor have, and yeah, that can come from just having fringe benefits and overtime pay, as well as having a board that is fully qualified to keep the interest of its workers. Ultimately, when those smaller values are prioritized, I as a laborer have the liberty to feel a little more valued, my colleagues more valued, and I can just get back to work. Over time, various labor laws have been implemented, such as mandating a 10-hour turnaround time until the next workday because too many folks were getting into accidents from not having enough rest. I read it in the handbook. We get a handbook. To reiterate, the thing about having a union to protect workers below the line means better things for folks above the line as well. It establishes competitive, livable wages that evolve with inflation and everything else that goes along with it. So instead of having to guess what a good rate is for you and your skill set that is constantly evolving, there's already a scale union wage that gets voted on every year. And everything else only goes up from there. You're looked at as competent, your work is cut out for you, you can rest easy knowing everyone is well taken care of so they can keep coming to work. Short-term contracts can still be under union contracts as well. A day rate is different than an hourly rate, depending on what kind of work contract you're specifically under. And don't be fooled with the, well, my boss lets me enjoy free dinners. Even on an ultra-low budget shoot, which is the lowest tiered budget out of 4, breakfast is courtesy, lunch is served hot, and meal penalties are often are offered when overtime is cutting into second meal penalties. Penalties because that's what happens when the production has to pay for the second crew meal of the day. Ever have to negotiate the price of a pizza? Under a union, you don't have to. There's already a section for second meal penalties in your timesheet, and they're strictly enforced, and that's that. Production is aware of it, so they do their best to manage the situation to not get there, because should they get there, they're unable to deny that accommodation. Every industry has enough resources and the wherewithal to have their workers protected under a union. Negotiating a union contract is not that hard and not out of the fiscal realm. Given how new industries might be given how new, that's really bad. I'll just skip that. Members can vote into action different contracts that new industries could very well enjoy. Having an invested group of members who protect workers' rights rather than an executive board that divests workers from their livelihood really feels like an effort well served and completely within the realm of possibility. Human labor, human skills, human thought are all being undervalued every day when we as a generation think it's okay to not have pension plans when our company pays for our coffee. The truth is, we can have the coffee and have a bit of a retirement plan, too.
Yes.
All right, last but not least is Brendan Chung.